Hi, everyone. This is your host, Kristen Howe, and I would like to welcome you to our call with our amazing guest, Rikka Zimmerman. Rikka is an internationally acclaimed speaker, author, singer, songwriter, and global leader in consciousness. She appears on TV and radio shows internationally as well as in print and online publications. She will empower you to truly know that the miraculous being you are is beyond this reality's illusion of limitations. Rikka's light shines ever brightly as an invitation and inspiration to all of us to discover, embrace, and be the greatest expression of ourselves. Now, today on the call with Rikka, she invites you to vibrationally release the disharmony that is built up in your energetic system as a result of trying to control the world around you, so you can relax into the space of ever-flowing love you truly are. How amazing does that sound? Also on the call, you will be empowered to infinitely love all energies and liberate yourself from the illusion of all separation. You'll discover how to stop worrying about money and love you into abundance instead. And you'll find out how to free yourself so no one has the power to push your buttons ever again. You'll experience a meditative journey that guides you to fall in love with yourself, energetically restoring your body as the sparkling, blissful home it was designed to be for you. And you'll discover that there are unimaginable depths of infinite possibilities and infinite energy within you when you love without limits. So I can't wait. Rikka, I am so excited to share your amazing energy with everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, Kristen. And thank you, everybody out there, for following the energy to this call, to fall back in love with you, to allow yourself to deeply and fully love every aspect of you. Because when you have this, your whole life changes. You feel glowing in who you are. It shifts your financial situations, your relationships. It shifts your body. It's an incredible energy that we all have the capacity to give ourselves fully. And we're pretty much trained to not give it to ourselves. So it's going to be really fun to unlock this deep, overflowing love in you, to have each of you love without any limits.
I love that, and I love the sound of it. Now tell me this. Have you always been like this? Have you always loved without limits, or have there been shifts that have occurred in you?
Of course not. Boy, I've been through it all. You know, I've had pretty much a normal life, you know, and was trying to be perfect and felt like I wasn't good enough. And I had all kinds of places where I wasn't allowing myself to know who I truly was and to rest in that, you know, to be peaceful and spacious in the gift that that is. So for each of you, no matter where you are on your energetic journey, you can have this. You can. It's yours. And we're going to go through lots of different questions and awakenings for each of you to move further into this today.
And that's what I love, and I love sharing the experience of you. That's really the best way that I can put it with everyone listening. This is an extraordinary group of people that show up here, and you're extraordinary, and it truly is. Everyone, if you have not been with Rikka before, this call will be an actual experience. It's unlike anything you've ever had before, I'll tell you that much. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about vibrationally releasing disharmony, because you say that that's really built up in our energy systems. Is that correct?
Yeah. And, you know, maybe what we'll do first off is, would you all be willing to take kind of like a little bit of an energetic check on yourself just before we start and then after we get done with this call, to give you kind of a guidelines of how different you'll feel by the end of the call. So just in your world, choose someone that feels like you. A friend, partner. Yeah, so everybody's got their person. Okay, cool. Now we're going to begin unlocking some of that disharmony in the places where you're not allowing yourself to really glow in the love that you are. And throughout this call, you'll feel all kinds of different shifts that will have you feeling closer to you. And your energetic field will open, and you'll begin to feel blissful about who you are. So the whole idea around this disharmony, well, we live in this world of judgment. How many of you guys judge yourselves? And I can feel everyone going, I do. How many of you guys judge the people around you? Yeah, all of that, is that actually being true to your loving heart? Not so much, is it? So in this reality, we're kind of trained out of this sweet, infinite love that we have had as children and into the separation, into the judgment, into the exclusion, into the different ways of functioning that actually keep us from this childlike, playful, infinite love that we really are. So basically, every time in your life where you've taken something out of just being what is, where you've said this is right or this is wrong, it creates a disharmony in your system because you're not just being with what is. You're trying to make it different. And you're also judging it as being either, the right way or the wrong way. And each of those positions create this kind of building up of density where you weren't peaceful and loving and spacious in everything that's gone on in your world. There's things that you wanted it to be different. There's things that were wrong. There's things that you did wrong, you said wrong, the choices that you made that were wrong that you're trying to make yourself right for. So all of that judgment actually creates this buildup of disharmony. And then what happens, Kristen, is that as you go into the world around you, that disharmony gets activated by the world around you. So it really creates a lot of disruption in your life, too, because it's almost like you've put all these buttons in your energetic field, and now the world around you pushes them. So you always feel reactive. You don't really feel like you get to choose your own energetic system.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it.
Definitely, yeah. And it's basically anything that you have judged in the past, anything you're holding on to in that way, becomes a button, whether it's a right judgment or a wrong judgment. Even the judgment of this is the way that it is becomes a button. So basically, every definition of you is a button that somebody can push. And it keeps you out of flowing in love because you get around them and they say that one thing like, oh, you don't care about me. And you go to, what are you talking about? I totally care about you. And you're in this contractive place of proving to them versus being the space of love that would actually unravel their idea of the not caring that they're doing to you, that they're really just doing to themselves. So it's like as you're willing to let go of these different disharmonized positions, what ends up happening, my sweet, beautiful friends, is you unlock the entire world just by being yourself. Now, how cool is that?
That is so cool. So I know that you say trying to control the world around us, it plays a big part in this. And, that makes a lot of sense. But tell me what you mean by that.
Well, what's interesting about control, how many of you guys feel like you're controlling your life? You're trying to control the world around you. You're trying to control your future, trying to control the past from not happening again, trying not to create the same mistakes. So you're controlling yourself out of what you think would create those mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, what's interesting about that is you can only control limitation. Because check this out. Try to control infinite energy. You can't. Try to control an infinite being that allows themselves to be infinite possibility and infinite energy. You can't really control that. Isn't that amazing? So all the ways in which we are trying to control us and the world around us just become a place where we're actually protecting limitation.
Whoa.
It just maintains the disharmony. This is a very big conversation, by the way.
Yeah, protecting limitation. I mean, but that's, the second you said that, it's just like, it went ding. How wild is that we're protecting limitation?
Yeah, and it's really a false sense of control, because it's like we think, well, let me control this good thing into happening, or let me control this result into happening. But how often have you noticed that it doesn't ever turn out like you were trying to control it into? So it leaves you in this place of always also feeling wrong and feeling like you can't really create your life, when really you just can't use the conclusions and the judgments to create your life, because that's all based on separation. It's based on not having. So then the universe has to sort of fall in line with that not having, and then what you create in your world isn't what you know you can create, and then you end up in judgment of you. It's quite a vicious cycle, and the separation just continues.
Okay, so how do we start to deseparatize? How do we start to reconnect?
I love you. Very, very good question. Well, my first question for you guys is, really, are you willing to give up control? It's a big question, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot of fear comes up.
Yeah. And, you know, let's have a little conversation about consciousness and energy and trust, because you guys probably can't really answer this question truthfully until we kind of raise some awareness around it. One of the things is that energy is always supporting you. It has no idea how to function as not supporting you. All it does is support you in every moment. So, like, if you had a glass of water that was a high vibrating glass of water, and then another glass of water that was a low vibrating glass of water, that low vibrating glass of water would actually raise to the high vibrating glass of water. It doesn't go backwards. So what does that tell us about energy?
That's exciting.
Yeah. And does that tell us that energy is always working on our behalf? And all that's going to happen is your vibration is going to raise.
Yeah.
So here we are, right, controlling our lives and our worlds instead of letting go. When if we let go, we'd actually be letting go to something that is in continuous support of us and has no idea how to not support us. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So let's look at this. So now that you kind of know, wow, if I let go and allowed infinite energy to come in, all that would happen is that basically all the energy in my world that's lower vibrating would just raise to the highest vibration. So do I really want to maintain controlling my life and keep on, you know, putting those barriers up? Or is it okay for me to actually let go, knowing that I'm letting go to an energy that will totally support me?
Yeah, then you want to.
So yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, yes, I'll hand this over. Oh, you actually know more of what to do with it than I do. Oh, yes, I'll hand this over. Infinite intelligence that has no idea how to not support me. Yeah, I'll hand all of it over. Do what you will with it. And then let me know what you'd like me to put into, you know, reality to allow this to come into fruition, whatever it is. So all the control that you guys are doing, all the limitations that you're holding on to, that's keeping that infinite support from being able to work in you and through your system and through your life. Would you all be willing to let go of all of that control?
I'm going to give you a big resounding yes on everyone's behalf.
Awesome. Thank you. So just feel into all that disharmony of all the control, all the mind stuff of trying to make things right or wrong, all the fighting with limitation, all the trying to make it turn out one way and not another. It's kind of exhausting, isn't it? Trying to control people into not leaving you. It's amazing, too, because it's like control is what we put on the other side of what we think is going to happen. So it's like if we have the old past content of everybody leaves us, then in your relationships, you might find you keep controlling people into staying. But really what's happening is if you let go of all the old content of the feelings of being left, you'd never have to control anything again.
Wow.
And our own perspective about our life and what we believe is basically what creates it all. It's what takes each of you from infinite possibility into a limited spectrum. You're your own creator of that. So if you think everybody's going to leave you, you're putting that in everybody's heads all the time. And you're making it happen unless somebody is strong enough in consciousness to go against what you're putting in their head and not do it. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, we're that powerful.
So all those, You're that powerful. I used to have the point of view that everybody hated me and every man leaves me. And it was really interesting because I had a team of people, and, one of the women was like, this is so weird, Rikka. She's like, I love you. I adore you. I think you're fabulous. I just love being around you. And this energy keeps sneaking in and this idea of I hate you. And she's like, I don't even get it. What is this? Is this you? Are you actually putting this in my head? And unbeknownst to me, deep in my system, I actually thought everybody hated me. So people would love me and hate me at the same time. And they didn't even know why. Well, they were aware of my own position about myself.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? So it limits your possibilities so greatly, my sweet, beautiful friends, because you are that powerful. You put every perspective you have, every bit of disharmony in everybody's heads, and try to get them to play it out.
Wow.
You make the universe function from your perspective. So just feel into all that energy. And would you be willing to let go?
Yes.
Yeah, just feel all that. Just feel your energetic system just beginning to open. Allow yourself to just relax and let go of all the stuff you've been trying to hold on to and control. And just let it go. Feel all those strings just fall out of your system. It's like, oh, all right, I'm just going to hand it over to infinite energy. Do what you do. You're better at this than I am. Enjoy. There you go. It's interesting, too. Are you noticing, Kristen, there's this kind of energy of peace or space that's beginning to come through people's systems?
Yeah, and it's resulting in, I just felt that, as you said that, I was feeling the smile slowly creep across my face. And when you said that, I was like, yes, I'm smiling. Yeah, it feels, not a big, not a huge, happy smile, but just very peaceful, calm, serene. Yeah, it's an amazing feeling.
Yeah. And are you noticing too how when we let go of the control and allow ourselves to be supported and contributed to, it's like we're actually getting closer to us. There's kind of this deep feeling of intimacy that starts creeping in as you let go of all the control that you've been doing and controlling all those limitations. It's like this relaxed, deep intimacy.
Yeah.
So good news, you're already getting closer to loving you. Good job, everybody.
So when you talk about, I love this phrase, by the way, the illusion of all separation. Is that what you're meaning?
Mm-hmm.
Is it really an illusion that we're separate from anything and from ourselves?
Oh, let me ask you, is it?
Yes, it is an illusion.
Yeah, because has there been places in your life where you've let go of some form of separation, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, it didn't have to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
You just stopped functioning from that particular perspective. Like for me, I lived almost my entire life with I am not good enough. So throughout my life, I felt not good enough, and I, with all the possibilities that were really amazing, those were too good because I wasn't good enough. So I'd push those away, right? And I kept working on being better because that's actually my parents' version of loving me was be a better person because you're bad. So I was doing it to myself, right? And in that, I just totally limited all kinds of possibilities. I mean, I had Elton John's producer, basically wanting to hand me a deal, and he couldn't because I was not good enough from my own perspective. So for each of you, these positions that you take, they don't actually have to be there. You can let go of that illusion of separation. You can, I promise. It's actually kind of easy. All you have to be willing to do is actually be present for the energy that's trapped in your system and then love it out of the illusion into a spacious, flowing, loving energy. So it's almost like you're loving yourself out of where you've put yourself in reality and raising your own vibration to match the universe of love that we're actually in.
Wow.
What's interesting too is as you open your system to this, it's like in my world, I have this knowing that wherever I show up on a radio show or a telesummit or a TV interview or whatever, that it's just a big gift to the world. And not from a place of me trying to believe that it's a gift. I just know it. So I can walk up to celebrities and go, hi, and it's kind of like, I know that just me meeting you is going to expand your world. Like there's a place for me in everybody's world. There's a knowing of the contribution and the gift that I am. And for each of you, you are all this gift. It's not that it's a gift that I am, it's a gift that we are. And when we allow ourselves to flow in this gift, it's almost like we're becoming that infinite energy that's all around us, that's that support, that is that unlocking. And as you be that, you shift everyone around you. So you walk around kind of parading how beautiful and amazing you are. Because you're like, have you seen me yet? Oh my gosh, everybody I touch expands. Everybody's life gets better. Everybody loves themselves more. Everybody gets happier and more joyful. It's like if you guys allowed yourself to have this, how much would your life change? All those possibilities would be like, well, yes. And of course the universe would want to put you in front of millions of people or whatever because you're being a gift for the planet. Like, let's use you. It's not going to pull out its best player. It's not going to bench you. It's going to be like, hey, get this vibration out in the world. It's going to do everything it can to create the biggest, most amazing possibilities for you.
Wow.
I love it. You're the universe's best player. The universe is not going to bench you.
I grew up as an athlete, so I'm like, oh my God, that's the perfect way of saying it. It's fantastic.
I love it. So, very
can we
cool.
go back and talk about how we're walking around with all those buttons to be pushed again? So how do we free ourselves so that, the buttons are no longer, is it that they become no longer pushable? Is that they become no longer buttons? How do we free ourselves from that sort of constant life of reaction? Is it through experiencing this connection and love?
Yeah, it's almost like in our lives, we have abandoned our own souls, our own hearts. Mm. And we have created these ideas of I was bad or wrong, or I was right, which is just the other side of wrong. It's like you don't create the position that you're right unless you believe you're wrong. So either side of the coin, you're playing both, right? So it's like in our past, in our childhoods, we've all come across these experiences where we made ourselves wrong or we made somebody else wrong, and we tried to make ourselves right, we tried to make somebody else right. Well, in that, it's like, were you allowing yourself to be present and loving and spacious with you? Not so much, right?
Yeah,
it's like, do you feel how the positions of judgment and of conclusion really take us out of who we are and out of that intimate, ever-flowing present energy of love that is, and into a distorted perspective? Like, can you see that, Kristen?
Absolutely.
So what we're almost doing, like, time isn't real, right? So there's all these different lifetimes that are really all stacked on top of each other, and everything's happening in simultaneity. And science actually tells us this. So there's no place in all of us that we can't play with, that we can't touch, that we can't open up. And in all of these lifetimes, we've created all of these different positions where we took ourselves out of this harmony and into this disharmony. So it's almost like we're going back in this moment at this time to all those past experiences. And instead of allowing that right or wrong to exist, or that this is just the way it is, or that stuck emotional energy in regards to it, like, oh, this hurt my feelings, this was really bad, right? We're becoming that divine mother or father that actually be present with our energetic field and loves all that disharmony out of existence. So it's almost like you're going back and loving that little kid who felt hurt. It's like, hey, I got you, right? So would all of you be willing to just feel down into that information from all those lifetimes, the sadness, the grief, the feelings of being hurt, How about feelings of being alone or neglected? Whew, feel all that.
Yeah.
And as we're kind of touching down into these kind of lower oscillating energies, we're just staying present with that loving, spacious being that we are. So we kind of have our bodies and our presence, even in this moment of right now, staying as big as the universe, and then offering that energy to that stuck information, that less than self, that we're actually moving from less than into infinite. So throughout your childhood, what are all those feelings and emotions that you trapped in your system that hurt too much to experience them? All that stuff that you just wanted it to be different. You know, you wanted your parents to show up. You wanted them to not neglect you. You wanted somebody to see you. And what about all that longing for being seen? The longing for being recognized as the gift that you are, as the magic you are. And all that helplessness and hopelessness of knowing so much stuff and not being able to share it maybe with anyone. And nobody believed you. Nobody could meet you where you are and who you are. They couldn't see from where you function from. So just feel down into all those, it's almost like drilling down into those lower vibrations, and just feel all of that. And feel down into it until you kind of hit this place where it starts to spaciously open up. You're getting closer. Kind of feel down into it. You're almost there. There we go. So now allow that space to come back up through your energetic system and allow it to flow through all of everything that's not spacious and not loving. So just feel that space kind of rising up through your system, clearing and cleaning out all that past lifetime stuff, all that this lifetime stuff, all that hurt, all that pain, all that suffering, all that separation. And are you willing just to allow it all to return to space and return to love? Yeah. Is that okay if it's time? Time to return to you? Time to feel like yourself again. Holy Moses, huh? Time to be able to love like yourself again, like your true heart, like the person you know you came here to be. Yeah, that sweet, beautiful, loving, present, playful, joyful you. Where every moment was an adventure and feeling all this love. And then wondering why the adults couldn't feel it. Feeling all this possibility and adventure and then wondering, why are the adults so upset? How could they be missing out on all this magic? This is wild. What if you allowed yourself to fully remember all of that? And if it's not in this childhood, it could be in another. So feel into that peace and that possibility and that sense of adventure and love and playfulness. And would you reclaim that energy back now? Yeah. It's your life, my sweet, beautiful friends. It's your energetic field. It's your body. You get to be the one this time that goes, you know what? I'm flowing in love this time. I'm setting myself free. I'm loving all that disharmony back into love. And I'm inviting back all that playful, joyful, sweet, loving me. it's interesting because there's kind of a bit of this. I mean, that was a nice shift, but there's a bit of this energy of, I can't love that much here. Like, it hurts too much to love that much. Like, I can't be that present and that loving with people because they just separate. They just hurt me. They just do something. So it's interesting. We're on a planet of separation at the moment, and both me and Kristen and all of you guys are doing everything we can in every moment to actually dissipate that field to where it doesn't exist for anyone. But in the meantime, people still believe in separation. And the thing is, people will do with you what they do to themselves. So everything that anybody's ever done with you had nothing to do with you and everything to do with their own separation with themselves. And people will act out on you based on their own separation of themselves too. Like if somebody believes they're not good enough, they're probably going to try to make you feel like you're not good enough. So you're on a planet of separation, and what percentage of the population actually functions from separation? I would probably say 99.999 infinite nines, right?
Yeah.
I mean, basically pretty much all this planet. So that's your environment. So even though everyone is going to separate from you and they're going to judge you and they're going to do what they're going to do, would you be willing to return to love in you anyway? It's like, even though they're going to break your heart, would you love them anyway? Are you willing to love that much? Cool thing is, when you're willing to love that much, you get to receive it. So with that, are you willing to love that much?
Yes.
Ooh, baby. Now, there's this energy that's coming up, too, right now of, yeah, but I don't want to do stuff. Like, I don't want to have to do that much. Well, when I talk about love, I just talk about the vibration of love, right? It's that space and that peace and that possibility and that beauty. It's the real you. It's the miracle that you are. It's everything that actually is. When you let go of everything, you realize that love is the only thing that has ever existed. It was the only thing that was ever real. So the love I'm talking about doesn't mean you have to do anything for it. Or if you love someone, doesn't mean you have to do anything in particular. It just means you're flowing in the energy. So knowing that, would you allow yourself to return to love in you and love that much? Knowing you don't have to do anything. You just get to have it.
Yeah.
There you go. Ooh, feel that nice shift, everyone. Let that shift go down into your belly, down into your second chakra and your root chakra and your solar plex. Just let that happen. There you go. Feel that. Watch out. There might be a little bliss coming up in your bodies. A little bit of that really, really yummy, present, infinite love. And this is the energy of everything that is. Like, if you got to let go of all the fixed perspectives that you have in your system, all that would happen is you'd flow with the energy of what is. And if you allowed yourself to be the energy of what is, you'd be so blissful and so joyful, you wouldn't even know what to do with yourself. It would just feel good to be. And from that space, you can create anything. It's like, oh, well, what would be fun?
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Kristen?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling literally that, yeah, that's how I'm feeling. Like, oh, it's the only way I can think to describe it. Just, yeah. Question, though, because that made, for me, especially when you were talking about people, there was a definite connect to that. When it comes to, I know there are a lot of people right now who can go, okay, so I get love with people, and I get that, and I get everything that you're saying. What about when it comes to things like money? So many people really, really clamp down on that, and it's like, how do I love, despite the fact that I can't pay my bills? Or how do I love despite the fact that I'm so terrified? You know, these are the things that I'm hearing from people a lot. So how can we bring this into abundance as well?
Yeah, really great question. Now, this reality loves to create all kinds of really weird ideas around money that it gets you to really believe in. And it actually keeps you not having money and not being willing to be oneness with money, because you're always separate from it, which means you're being the energy of not having it, which means it's really hard to receive it if you're being the energy of not having it. And if you don't have money, you're a lot more easily controlled. So the way that money is pitched here is it's a complete control system. Actually, every belief system is a control system.
Okay.
Feel that, my friends. And I know you guys really love being controlled, so I really think you should hold on to all your fixed information around money. I'm just kidding. I know. And the thing is, people make money so real and they fight for the realness of it. No, but Rikka, you don't understand. I can't pay my rent. No, Rikka, you don't understand. And it's really interesting to me. And I know because I've actually been there. I mean, I've been working totally, going into credit card debt and further into credit card debt and not being able to make it. And what actually shifted all of this for me was me actually receiving me. Now, isn't that weird? But the more of this infinite being that I received that I am, the more that I got in touch with the bigger picture, the gift that we are, and kind of kept my awareness on that and moved towards that. It's like all of that financial stuff got worked out. And what's interesting is it's like this entire reality is consciousness is trying to basically undo all of your disharmony. So any of the stuck and fixed information that is trapped in your field, right? It's trapped in reality. It's not flowing in love. It's not that higher miraculous vibration. It's this trapped stuff. It's trying to undo it for you. And that's it working on your behalf, trying to undo it for you. So if money brings up a whole bunch of stuff for you, it's going to keep bringing up that stuff to resolve it in you. Like if you have a lot of fear about not having it, it's probably going to keep you not having it so that you really experience the fear. Because it doesn't care about paper. It just cares about energy. And that's the place, too, where it's like if we're in this position of control, we'll try to overcome the fear of not having it instead of just experience the fear. There's a woman in class in Toronto a few weeks ago, and she said, Rikka, she's like, I basically had a relationship that ended and I had a whole bunch of money, and for 2 years, it's like I just kept using my savings and I was trying to create my life, and I just kept using my savings and trying to create my life. I finally hit rock bottom last week, or 3 weeks ago. And she said, I hit rock bottom, and she's like, as soon as I did, I fell apart. I surrendered to it all. I just went, okay, I don't care if I live or die. I don't care what happens. I'm going through all of this. I'm going to experience all of these energies, everything that's at the very bottom of the barrel. And she got to the bottom of the barrel, everything returned to space, and then she was like, oh my God, wait a second. It doesn't have to be like this. I don't have to be with it in this way. I can have no money and I can still have myself. And I don't need to do fear, and I don't need to do, she had experienced all that trapped emotional stuff. And she's like, Rikka, I literally have had $100,000 show up in the last 3 weeks.
Whoa.
And she's a realtor and all kinds of stuff, right? So she's like, it's amazing how quickly everything can turn around when you're willing to actually not control your surroundings, but experience the stuff that's coming up and return it to harmony. Now, it does require you being really present with what's going on in your system. So when that fear comes up, when the anxiety comes up, slow down, stop, sit down on a couch or something and just take a moment with yourself, right? Be present with it. Feel it. Hold your own loving hand. Walk into it and say, hey, whatever this is, we're going through it together. We're going to return this to love. And be with it until it shifts. The ways that people kind of keep themselves from it is all that control. And when you're trying to sort of cognitively make your way out of it or force your way out of it. It's like all the cognitive stuff that comes up as you're experiencing it, just allow the cognitive to leave. Don't hold on to it. So the cognitive mind might say like, oh, don't go here. This is going to be really bad. You're never going to get through it. Thank it for it and keep going, right? So don't hold on to the stories as they're flying out of your system. Just experience all of that energy, return it all to love, and then you'll find, oh my gosh, I can have a totally different life now.
Wow, I love that because you just literally gave us exactly what we can do when we start to feel our buttons being pressed, right? So when we feel that we're going into reaction, we can, if we just become aware and stop, and I like that you said sit on a comfy couch or something, but it's true. It's that thing of we just need to have that awareness to be able to pause for a second and then the reaction isn't taking us. Is that a good way to look at it?
Yeah, and you're actually harmonizing the old reaction. A button doesn't just appear. A button is there because you put it there from the past, right?
Right.
So you're really kind of loving that part of you back into existence. It's like you may want to ask for everything that's coming up, is this actually even from this moment, or was this trapped stuff from another moment? And I guarantee you, I would say probably 99.9% of it is from an old moment, if not 100%. Yeah. So the willingness to really be present for that, to unlock it so that you can energetically return to love in you. And in that, it transcends into money and into your relationships and in with your body. It changes your whole entire energetic field where it's a loving presence interacting with a loving presence. So your relationship with money becomes this loving, spacious, present relationship. And instead of trying to make it that way when it's not, it just is that way because it is. When you've gotten through all your content, it's just what is. It's just how you function.
Wow. That's powerful. Well, and I love that visual, right? So for some reason, a visual came up when you said a button doesn't just appear. It's been there. And it's like loving the button. It's almost like looking at it and going, yeah, I see you, button, and I love you.
Yeah, totally. It's like, hey, sweetheart, because that's a place where you dishonored you, where you abandoned you, right? So you're like, hey, sweet button, hi. I'm with you. You got my total attention. I'm yours. Like, what's up? And it's like, but they weren't listening to me and nobody ever listens to me and they talked over me again. And that is like probably a 7-year-old crying right there, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, if somebody you loved, a 7-year-old, was crying because they hadn't been heard, would you tell them to shut up, or would you try to get over it, or would you hide from it, or would you try to talk them into something, or would you actually just be present for them and love them so that they can return to love?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Would just love them.
Yeah. So you guys are like little infinite children. You've been hurt. It's not that easy to be here. And you've been doing the best that you could. Oh my God, you've been doing the best that you could. Somebody told you just work harder, and you tried that so hard, right? Somebody told you, to just get a job, just do this thing, and you've been trying the best that you could. So what if you allowed yourself to be that divine mother with you, where actually you were present with all that old stuff and went, hey, I'm loving you back into love now. I'm so sorry I wasn't willing to be present with you for so long, but I'm here with you. I got you. I love you. I got you. So would you guys be willing to kind of turn your attention to all those different positions and life experiences that were too much, too hard to handle, and everything you've been overcompensating from ever since you put all that heaviness in existence, and just say, hey, I got you. I love you. Yeah. It's okay. I'm here. I'm here. I'm just going to hold you and love you until you remember that you are love. Until you remember that you are love. There you go. Just feel it. Until you remember that you are love. I mean, they're cute little, sweet little 2-year-old that's going, I'm trying the best that I can. Somebody come love me. That's all that it is. It's all that it's ever been. Are you willing to finally love all those parts of you? Is that a yes?
Absolutely.
So just feel yourself going back through all of your timelines and going, hey, I got you. I love you. I got you. It's cool. I got you. I'm here. I love you. It's cool. I'm going to love you back into love so that you can feel love again. So instead of the energy being trapped, it can be flowing in love. It can be the energy of what is, without an ounce of judgment, without an ounce to fix information. There you go. Feel all that and just allow it to dissipate from your system. There we go. You know, the tough part about what's actually happening here is each of you are so loving. You guys love so much that when you act out of love, then you get deeper into hurt or judgment because you don't want to ever do that again.
Huh.
So that's the tough part about people like you. Anybody who's on this call is more loving than they can even imagine. You would not be here for humanity. You would not be here for yourself unless you were a universe of love. So yet, would each of you be willing to completely and totally forgive yourself for every time you ever acted out of love?
Ooh, yes.
Yeah. And you might want to say it in this moment, like, I forgive myself for every time I ever acted out of love. Every part of me is completely forgiven. I was doing the best that I could. And I let go of all the stuff I put on top of it, all the feeling bad and wrong and the judgment of me and everything I put on top of it. Now there's this feeling of if we let this go, then we'll act out of love again. But this is the separation that has you acting out of love. In a world of no separation, right, would hurt and pain exist? Would judgment exist?
No.
Would meanness exist? No. So if you're willing to allow yourself to forgive yourself for everything, then you don't have the information to do mean things, to hurt people, or whatever it is that you're in that place of not forgiving you for. So will you, in knowing that, forgive yourself for absolutely everything, knowing that in this moment the nightmare could be over?
Yes.
Yeah. Forgive yourself for not showing up in the love that you know you can have for humanity. Forgive yourself for every moment in which you played small, or forgive yourself in every moment where you went to judgment of the people around you and you couldn't be there for them. The only reason why you couldn't be there for them is because you hadn't been there for yourself yet. You still did the best you could. And would you be willing to forgive yourself for everyone you haven't been able to get to receive you or themselves? Everyone you tried to love and they just rejected you. Will you forgive yourself for even that? There you go.
I just keep feeling, oh, what a relief.
Absolutely. Oh my God, what a relief.
Lighter and lighter. Like, wow. It's amazing.
Totally.
Wow. I mean, this is going to be hard for you to narrow down. So pick two. Can you share with us, because I think it's so helpful for people to hear with doing all of this, what's possible for them? So do you have, one or two stories that you can share with us, people that have worked with what you're doing here, applied what you're doing here, and some of the turnarounds they've experienced?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. Now, we tape these products live, and so it's like the class becomes your guys' representative, and this product was actually made for you. So what I do is I invite everyone who's going to purchase this product in the future energetically to come into the room, and then I speak to the whole energy. So there was a woman, Heather, in this taping who since has, oh my goodness, she's been talking about how much money that she's making, and it's like she sold a house and made $50,000. She's like, Rikka, oh my God, because prior to that moment in her, she had defined herself as a simpleton and whatever, like she was like, no, I'll sell condos and it's okay. Now, after this class, she had such a sense of the love of herself and the love of humanity and the love of living and the love of being here that all of a sudden everything became playful. Now, if you're going to play with everything, you could play with selling one-bedroom condos, or you could play with selling big houses. So she began selling big houses. And she's like, what's happening right now is so easy and so fun, and it's ridiculous. And she's like, I wish everybody could just get this product. Because you don't realize how much you're limiting your possibilities by how you feel about yourself. If you're not in self-love, you can't allow other people to love you. You turn them away. And she was even noticing that, in her business, she's like, oh, there was that guy that was really amazing that had a massively amazing house and really wanted me to sell it because he saw that, he saw me. He saw how beautiful I was. He wanted to contribute to me. But instead, I made something a problem and made him go away. So she began to see like all the different layers of everything she had done to refuse possibilities, to refuse money, to refuse that much receiving.
Wow. Because
she didn't feel good enough about herself to actually receive it. Now she's like, oh yeah, I'm in your life. You get to have yourself. That's all you're looking for. And these people have worked, for their whole lives to get money to have themselves. And she's like, I'm just being with them, and they are so shifting just by my mere presence of my own love of self. They're moving into so much self-love. They tell all their friends, and they don't know why. It's
That's
like
so
this
cool.
This consciousness, this being seen, this being loved. It's so rare on this planet. So when you have it, you resonate differently, and everybody around you goes, I want that. What is that? I want that. What is that? And then they want to tell everybody about it, and they're like, you've got to meet this person. I don't even know why, And because you're being that vibration too, all of humanity is drawn to it like a moth to a flame. Right. So people that are, wanting to buy the house, people don't know why they're even going to the open house. People don't, it's like everyone comes, everyone offers possibility. It just so happens you're selling a house or you're doing business or whatever it is you're doing.
Right.
I mean, there was another person who had their sales. They were a salesperson. They had their sales triple after creating this product and being there. So, and she's like, it's really weird, Rikka. She's like, I feel like I'm doing nothing. Because when you love yourself, it feels like you're doing nothing. You're just happy and joyful to be yourself, and you're really peaceful, and you're just in love with it doesn't feel like anything. It just feels like, oh yeah, it's like this bliss in this space, right? She's like, I feel like I'm doing nothing, and I'm literally selling 3 times as much. She's like, this is so much better and so much easier.
Wow, so cool. And it's so funny to say it. And it's like, of course that makes sense that you would feel like I'm not even doing anything. I don't even know how this happened because I'm just sort of being here and being happy and loving. That's amazing. I love that. And I love opening people up to that possibility of feeling that amazing about their lives. I think that's incredible. And that's why I asked you to create this special offer. So let's talk about that. Everyone, I'm going to highly encourage you.
To access this page for yourself, simply click on the special offer button that's on this page.
And Rikka, I'm going to let you talk us through what we'll find there.
Oh, awesome. It's so wild, you guys, because this whole self-love, it's literally the whole game.
Yeah.
It's it. Because when you have that self-love, it's like you can't be controlled or manipulated. When you have that self-love, you don't create limitation. When you have that self-love, you're basically being all of that energy, all of that infinite possibility. Like you would never limit yourself if you loved yourself. So it's really amazing how dynamic and important and like really directly handing you to you this package is. It's just super, super cool. And, you know, you might have heard people talking about love. There is nothing that's ever been done like this, because I did it and went, oh, my God, this is completely new information. I've never heard this before. So track number one is releasing control to be the space of love. And it shows you how to let go of the control and then how to harmonize the information that's underneath that control. So sort of shifting you from not supported, not contributed to into this whole field of support that is actually right there for you, okay? It's just that you've separated from it. So the next piece of this is the releasing control toning. And I'd love to tone for you guys today too, but it does really weird stuff on the phone lines. So this toning, what this toning does is it basically shifts unlocks any of the old patterns and programs, and it kind of with the vibration and with the tone almost like carries that information out of your system almost like a river, while inviting in the support, the love, the contribution. And, you know, people have been going nuts over these tonings. And the cool thing, too, about sound and vibration is that there are tones that, like Cancer, cannot live in. Cancer's in a disharmony, right? And you like basically play this specific frequency at Cancer and it disappears. So the whole thing of adding the tones and the sounds and the vibration is it allows a form for your body to also receive, you know, because it's a sound vibration, so it's going through your molecules.
Right.
In that sound way. It's really, really cool, and it's something that's cool. Brand new for you guys. So the next piece of this is infinitely loving all energies. And this is about, it's sort of like in our worlds, we've created all these limits to what we can love and who we can love. So it's like, oh, I can't love this energy of anger. I can't love the energy of this. I can't love the energy of this. So all of those really just keep yourself from harmonizing all that information back into love. So really being present with all those different energies and being willing to be them fully, to where when you be them fully and you have no resistance to them, you realize that the energy of anger, if you have no judgment of it, doesn't feel like anger. It doesn't feel bad. It's just an energy. And it actually returns to a very powerful, spacious energy, which is really bizarre because most people experience anger from that heavy, affected place. So shifting all the different perspectives that are creating the colored experiences around energy so that in your own energetic field, you can go around your entire environment and not be triggered by any energy, not be, put yourself in a box, not be reactive at all, and being willing to be it all, which actually creates you as extremely powerful. Because if you're willing to be all energies, you're basically willing to be oneness, which means you are one powerful creator. You're one powerful manifester. It's really, really amazing. There's a toning that goes along with that too, that is designed to really bring in that infinite space of all the energies and harmonize all the judgments and the disharmony you've done around all those different vibrations. So this next piece is loving yourself into abundance. And what's amazing about this track is I wouldn't even call it a money track, although it definitely is. I have the awareness it's actually the most powerful money track I've ever done.
Wow.
And yeah, it's really, really awesome. So the next piece on this is this clearing the deep abuse toning, because what the money brought up was all that deep hidden abuse that you guys do to you. Because most people who do stuff around money, they hide it from themselves and they hide it from the world around them. So it brought up this like deep, deep abuse stuff. So we go through and basically wipe that entire deep abuse clean, which is incredible. And that brought us to the next part of the package, which was falling in love with the infinite you. So we began kind of opening up this energy of infinite love, and this woman was like, Rikka, I don't know how. Like, teach me how to do this. So it led into a mix of a meditation and a toning and back to a meditation. And it was really, really amazing because it actually gave people the platform of how to be present in love in them and how to actually shower themselves with that energy. And it goes back through childhood and through being a baby and through looking in your own eyes. I mean, it's just incredible. People were glowing after that whole experience. They were like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. I know what you're talking about now. I can feel this good about me. Like, I can just be this because I now have the energetic, I've cleared the information to where now love can exist in me. And now as I project or be that love into me, I feel like a big bliss ball, like, oh my God, I get where you live now, Rikka. It's really, really just amazing. And then the next part of this was moving that infinite love back into reality to where you get to play in reality instead of be serious and wrong and right? So we started bringing up all these different like characters and costumes and roles and things that people weren't willing to be, and we had them come from this place of love, and all of a sudden it was a bunch of, 6-year-olds playing. And when you're willing to play with what's serious, it's no longer serious. And when you've made something serious, you've made it significant, which means it runs you, it controls you. So it's taking that power out of all of that to where you can play in all reality and in infinite, and you get to play in it all. Which means you get to have whatever life you'd like to have, and it includes everything, including reality. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. I just love this package. I can't wait for you guys to have it.
Wow.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Oh
I'm so excited about the whole thing and the toning. That makes so much sense. I'm thrilled. So everybody, again,
if you haven't yet, just click on the special offer button on this page to see for yourself what an amazing package this is. You'll be glad you did.
And Rikka, real quick, what are some of the biggest benefits, obviously, over time we can experience complete, reconnecting with ourselves and love and all. But right away, what are some of the things that people could start to expect to experience literally right away once they're using this?
Well, you'll feel lighter, more joyful, more bliss-filled, more full of love. You'll find yourself meeting the universe on a different level too, because once your vibration isn't stuck in reality, you more so meet nature and the world around you at this kind of magical and miraculous level, to where the sun shining on you feels like, how could this feel so good? It's like 1,000 times better than it was prior to you unlocking you. It's really bizarre, but it's like we're shifting your limited dimensions out of existence. Like every perspective, it basically creates this dimension that you then have to live in. And so these packages phase you out of that limited dimension and into a miraculous dimension where all of a sudden you get, oh my God, everything's always been magical. Everything's always been miraculous. Everything has always felt this good. I just was stuck there, right? Wow. So you'll find that. You'll find that all kinds of amazing possibilities will open up. Probably a lot of friends will call you during it because they'll get that something's going on with you and why do you feel so good and light. You might get stopped in restaurants for having too much fun. If you're walking downtown or whatever, people are just going to look at you because they're going to wonder how you got out and they don't even know what they're doing. But it's like consciousness is working to unlock everyone into that lighter state of being. So any kind of vibration that's lower is going to feel your presence and receive it just by, so you end up, people will walk up to you and they'll say something like, are you famous? Or they'll say, like, you must have everything. That's the other judgment you'll receive, is that you have all the money in the world. You have the best relationship. You must have the best life. So the judgment you'll receive from the world around you when you're being this love of self is all of that, which is great because then you have people like with this woman, Heather, where her clients are now going, oh, you must have tons of money because they feel her love in her.
Right.
so it really shifts your entire reality and the way that everybody else interacts with you also. And it'll be really fun to hear all of the success stories from all of you as you embark on this self-love, because the depths of it are so vast, you can't even speak or talk about some of the things that you may experience. They might be that good, where even blissful doesn't even come close. So it's an exciting adventure. We are that amazing. And we are this universe of love if we're willing to allow ourselves to be it.
I love that. I love that. And I love that you've been here today sharing your amazing energy with this amazing group of people. It's like the perfect storm of brilliant energy. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here and being such an amazing part of this. And Rikka, you're just fantastic. Thank you for being here. And, I'm going to let you take us out here. What do you want to share with us before we all leave you today?
This love that you could be having for you is beyond anything you've ever experienced in this plane of existence. And this energy is something that you are. It's actually who you really are. It's where you really come from. It's your natural state of being. To be so in love with everything, everyone, and every energy that all you do is glow. And it's who you are. It's who you've always been. You just forgot. You believed in the separation that was never really you, and it was just a moment. It's waking up from the dream of reality and into the heaven that is actually existing right now. So for each of you, you're not far from this. You're just a perspective dimension shift away. You're just the willingness to say yes away, to get the information that you require to know and be who you really are, and to remember. For each of you, when someone has loved you totally, maybe in the beginnings of meeting someone, how amazing did it feel? How beautiful did you feel? Each of you could be receiving that about you, for you, every moment of every day. And it could be something that never gets taken away from you because it is you. Now, you would rob yourself of that universe for what reason? Is there any reason that is justifiable enough to be important enough to take you away from that universe? I didn't think so. And what is that love worth? What is that energy worth? For me, it's worth everything. There is no amount of money that I wouldn't pay to be this. I could pay billions of dollars for it, and that still would not be enough. Because it's that important. It's that real. It's what actually all of you have been searching for. And it's been in your hands. You've been the source of it. You're the one that can hand it back to you. So I'm excited to bring each of you into being so loving with you and the world around you without any limit. Unraveling all those limits so that you can flow in love, not only when you're meditating in the infinite and it feels so good, but when you're in reality too, when you're in your life. And is it time to give you this universe of love that you are? I thought so. Thank you so much for joining us. It's amazing. I love you all, and thank you for choosing to love you. It is an activation that's shifting everything on this planet, and I'm grateful for your love.
And we are all grateful for you, Rikka, and Eureka. And I am so grateful for each and every one of you listening, and I can't wait till we get to do this all again. So thank you all, and until the next time, keep manifesting. Bye-bye, everyone.